Congress thought Yellowstone was a lie. Boiling rivers, exploding water, a yellow canyon. In a dark tent in the wilderness, a photograph is being born. The man rocking that plate is about to end the argument. Because in 1871, America sent scientists to find out if Wonderland was real. And this is the expedition that invented the national park. For 60 years, trappers' stories of this place were laughed out of rooms. They called it Coulter's Hell, fire and brimstone, a mountain man's fairy tale. A trapper who described a mountain of glass and a river that boiled was simply not believed. The problem was never that the stories were wrong. The problem was that nobody could prove them. Words could be doubted. A picture could not. And in 1871, nobody had one. But this land was never unknown. People had lived here for thousands of years, not passing through, living here for at least 11,000 years. The Crow called it the land of the burning ground, the Kiowa, the place of hot water. To the Crow, the geysers were Bidemape, sacred water, powerful water. Tribes hunted here, quarried black obsidian here, traded it 1,000 miles east. The myth that native people feared the geysers, invented later by white writers. It was repeated for a century because it was convenient. It was never true. One account even suggests some tribes kept Wonderland secret on purpose. Then, in 1870, a Montana party rode in to see for themselves. One of them, a man named Everts, got separated from the rest. He was lost for 37 days. Remarkably, he walked out alive. Their stories electrified the country. Magazines ran them, lecture halls filled, and Congress said what Congress always says. Stories are not proof. January 1871. A Montana explorer named Langford lectured in Washington about the wonders. In the audience sat a government geologist. Ferdinand Hayden changed his plans overnight. Congress granted $40,000. Go to Yellowstone and bring back facts. Hayden didn't build an expedition. He built a scientific army. Geologists, botanists, a meteorologist, a zoologist, a physician, topographers, hunters, cooks, teamsters. Every measurement they took would be a fact Congress could not argue with. 21 horsemen and 7 army wagons strung out along the road north from Ogden. And Hayden added 2 men no survey had ever needed before: a photographer and a painter. William Henry Jackson hauled an entire darkroom on a mule and crates of fragile glass. Thomas Moran had never ridden a horse in his life. A railroad paid his way. The Northern Pacific wanted tourists. It bought 12 watercolors of a place it had never seen. The caravan climbed out of the sagebrush and into another world. Terraces of steaming stone, white as wedding cake, taller than houses. They measured everything: temperatures, altitudes, chemistry, the pulse of the geysers. Jackson wrestled his camera up cliffs, coating each plate by hand in total darkness. The process was merciless. Coat the plate, expose it, develop it, all before it dried. One crooked pour, one gust of dust, and the picture died unborn. He did it 400 times, in a wilderness with no roads. Moran filled sketchbooks, writing color notes no camera could yet capture. Photography was still black and white. The canyon was gold and rust and rose. Only a painter could carry that home. He stared into the great canyon and admitted it was beyond human art. Then came the lake, a cold inland sea 8,000 feet above the ocean. They carried a little boat in pieces and rebuilt her on the shore. The Annie. For 7 days, she traced every bay and inlet, the first boat ever to sail that water. mapping a shoreline nobody had drawn. At the lake, the two surveys divided the wonderland between them by agreement. Barlow rode south toward the headwaters. Hayden turned back for the geysers. Old Faithful erupted on schedule, and this time, cameras were watching. Nearly 400 plates, proof, stacked in wooden crates and packed in straw. By autumn, the expedition rode out, saddlebags heavy with evidence. 2 photographic records of Wonderland now existed. History was about to choose one. That October, 600 miles away, Chicago caught fire. The Great Fire consumed the Army Survey's archive. Specimens, maps, notes, and nearly every negative. 200 plates of Yellowstone by the Army's photographer Thomas Hine, gone. 16 prints survived because he happened to have them at home. One officer's notes had been left in St. Paul. From them came the first accurate map of Yellowstone ever drawn, and Jackson's plates became the only substantial surviving photographic record of the 1871 government surveys. That winter, Hayden went to war, politely, relentlessly, office by office. He wrote letters, he gave lectures, he cornered senators in corridors, and everywhere he went, he brought the pictures. Congressmen who had laughed at boiling rivers now stood holding them in silver. You cannot argue with a photograph. That was the whole point. A bill was drawn. Reserve the Wonderland forever, for all the people. It swept through the Senate, then the House in a matter of weeks. March 1st, 1872, President Grant signed. The world's first national park existed. No army of lawyers won that vote. A portfolio did. Moran went home and painted for 2 months on a 7-foot canvas. The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. The place nobody had believed. Congress bought it for $10,000 and hung it in the Capitol, the first American landscape ever purchased by the United States government. Moran painted the parks for 50 more years. They came to call him their father. And Jackson outlived them all, still telling the story 70 years later. 62 more parks followed. Every one of them descends from this. Every national park on Earth descends from one idea. Wonder plus proof. Next week, part 2. The park existed on paper, but nobody was protecting it. Until the U.S. Army rode in and stayed for 32 years. Subscribe to U.S. Wild History. Before you leave Yellowstone, spend an evening beside the campfire with the 1871 expedition. Check out our companion video, Yellowstone Campfire Music and Ambience, and relax to period-inspired music as night settles over Yellowstone Lake. Click the video on your screen to continue the journey.